Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Bird, and this is the Encouragement Corner. I'd be grateful to you if you could help me by clicking the like button and the subscribe button so I can try to get out some more encouraging words to more people. That would be great. Thank you so much. So, today, what I want to talk about is something that I think, boy, we all can relate to, and that is the voices that we hear. Now, I don't mean the audible voices around us, although those are bad enough. Sometimes the voices on the news, the voices of the neighbors, the sounds of the traffic, um, just voices. And a lot of times there's negativity, there's pessimism, there's anger. Those voices are tough. But what I'm talking about are the internal voices that you hear. Now, you might not even recognize them as voices, but the ones that say to you things like, "Hey, this isn't going to turn out well. Things aren't going to go your way." That pain, that discomfort you're having, that's probably a major issue. You're probably not going to get that job, or the finances aren't going to work, or just you're not enough. You're not enough. You just, you never have been. It's sort of a voice of self rejection and accusation, or the voice of the taskmaster, I call it, that says, "Hey, it's never enough. It's never enough, even when you're trying to do good." And I did this, I'll be honest with you, for 13 years in a church basis. I tried. I volunteered for everything. I tried to do everything I could, and it just never felt like enough. No matter how much I did, there were always more needs. It can be that in the world around you, too. And it just, no matter how much good you try to do, it seems like there's so much need. And after a while, people like I did, they're like, "Oh, well, I must just be a failure at this. It's just too much. Just forget about it. I'm just going to try to have a good time." Now, thankfully, God didn't give up on me when that happened, but I remember leaving the church thinking I'll never be back here. And honestly, I'm still not a real big part of that sort of church. The bricks and mortar, that building on the street that has a certain schedule. I know good things can happen there, but I tell you, what I think is more important is about what you're listening to personally and what you're doing as a result, not the boxes that you're checking. To feel like you're doing the right thing. So it can be challenging, and these voices can be difficult. But I tell you, I want to give you something very positive. This is the encouragement corner, after all. So I want to give you something very positive that I came on. This passage kind of came to me last week, and I haven't been able to get it out of my mind, and I'd like to share it with you today. It's from John chapter 10, and Jesus is speaking. And he says in verses 3 and 4, now the passage is longer than that. I recommend that you check it out, but just these couple of verses for right now. "To him the doorkeeper opens." He's talking about the good shepherd. He's saying, "I'm the good shepherd." And to him the doorkeeper opens. He's talking about the sheepfold. He says, "The doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he puts forth all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice." And if you look at this, it's a lot of things that the shepherd does. He leads, he calls his own sheep by name, he leads them out, he puts forth all of his own, and then he goes ahead of them. That's good, because those jobs we often take on ourselves, to figure out the way to go, to lead ourselves, to um, and it's hard. It puts a lot of pressure on. If you look at this, the only thing that the sheep do is they know his voice, they listen, and then they follow. So I thought about this voice. Wow, it's interesting. The sheep know his voice. So there's a voice speaking. There's a message. And I looked up that word. I looked a little deeper at that word, and it means a tone, or perhaps a dialect. And tone makes so much difference. A kind tone, a gentle tone. And when Jesus describes himself, he only does it, I think, really once. He's not big about talking about himself, and it's in Matthew chapter 11. I think it's in verses 28 through 30. He says, "Come to me, all who are weary and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke, which means a teaching on me. Take my teaching on you, because I'm gentle and humble, and you will find rest for your souls, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Wow, wow. Isn't that just so different than what we often feel, what we do to ourselves? Boy, our self talk, a mentor of mine said, if we talk to other people the way we often talk to ourselves, we'd all be in jail. And isn't it the truth? The self talk, those voices we hear that you're not enough, what you do isn't good enough, you'll never measure up. That's not the voice we want to be hearing. It's the voice of the shepherd. And by contrast, the voice of the shepherd, number one, he's the good shepherd. He's gentle. He's humble. He gives us rest for our souls. And in the following verses, in the 5 or 6 verses that follow, he says 5 times the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Wow. How blessed are we to be the sheep that have a shepherd that lays down his life for us. And it's the rest. In that is the rest that we need. He's the one who goes, hey, you measure up. I died for you. I'm giving you my place. I'm taking your place. Charles Spurgeon said, I have a great need for Christ, and I have a great Christ for my need. And thank heavens that Christ is that great shepherd of the sheep, who laid down his life for the sheep, who takes our standing, takes everything that's wrong with us and everything that we're not, everything that we can't do, everything that we've never done good enough, takes that all out of the way, takes all the consequences for it, pays the price. And then he gives us all of his perfect standing. He says, hey, I'm the great shepherd of the sheep. I'm going to give you my perfect standing. I love you. And just rest in my love. Just let it wash over you. That's the voice you want to hear. I'm gentle and I'm humble, and I give you rest for your souls. And boy, are we not living in an hour when we need rest for our souls, maybe more than ever. I don't know. Heard someone say yesterday that this is maybe the biggest catastrophe that's ever happened on the earth since maybe the flood. Because of its global impact, and we've still got all kinds of issues going on. But his voice will give us rest for our souls. It'll say, hey, you're accepted. You're enough. You're as enough as I am. I give you that as a gift because of my love for you. I'm gentle and I'm humble, and take my rest. I've got rest to give. I've got it to give. So here, have some. Have my rest. Enter into my rest. Be with me, because I want to be with you. I hope that is an encouraging word for you, and I hope that you have a great day. Until the very next time, God bless you.